On today's episode, Magic the Gathering, Tarkir Dragonstorm, actually pretty good. Cheater gets a lifetime ban, as they should. And then finally, South America just got some Final Fantasy product in. And oh boy, is this a story. But first, that beautiful intro. My name is Dom Douglas, and I've been playing Magic the Gathering for what seems like forever. But in fact, it's only been on and off for about 30 years. With that comes an expectation that I'm the best player ever. You couldn't be any more wrong in that statement. What I do like, however, is having a lot of fun. Whether it be playing Limited, Draft, Commander, Standard when I get the chance, Arena, Magic the Gathering Online, it doesn't matter as long as a good time is had. And with that, I have some opinions, not just of Magic the Gathering, but also video games, comics, maybe even a TV show or two. This is the Goblin Grenade Podcast. Want to welcome you all to the Goblin Grenade Podcast. My name is Dom Douglas, the voice of XWW, sister company to Max Heroes and Villains. Thank you for watching. If you want to like, subscribe, throw a comment if you want. Engagement's great. There, I figured out how to help the algorithm out for this channel. And now we are going to get into some topics of discussion here. If you're not familiar, this is a Magic the Gathering focused podcast, which occasionally sometimes I will talk about video games and other nerd related things, because last week was nothing but Path of Exile 2. So I'm going to compensate. This week it's nothing but Magic the Gathering. That is right. Dragonstorm Tarkir pre-release happened last week, and 2 weeks ago, and release happened this past weekend, and man, what a wild ride, literally and figuratively, it was. First off, the set is great. It is phenomenal. I adore drafting the set. I adore the sealed environment. And so far, some of the spicy brews that have been coming out in Standard, and a couple upgrades to some cards in Modern, Vintage, and Legacy as well, along with Commander. That has been a pretty big win for Wizards of the Coast. And, I've been improving Commander decks as well, and I've been re-sleeving a few because I traded some cards in and got more deck boxes, because look at this pile. It's getting bigger. There's 3 other decks that are being made right now. I wasn't allowed to buy any of the Commander product for Tarkir. That's how many Commander decks I have. I have a problem. So, we're going to get into how good Dragonstorm Tarkir Dragonstorm has been for Wizards of the Coast. I play at a WPN premium store. I did pre-release and the day of release. Okay. The weekend of pre-release, my WPN store, if you're not familiar, they get way more allocations than a normal store would. They are top-of-the-line stores for pre-releases and product and special prizes that Wizards gives out for these events. These stores tend to do the RCQs, the qualifiers, the big events in store. The store I played at had to cancel their last event on Saturday pre-release because they ran out of pre-release product. Not even joking. They had no more pre-release kits, meaning they fired off so many events and had so many take-home happen that they just ran out and couldn't do the last event. They were telling me they had like 3 or 4 left and was able to squeeze a single 4-person pod. And that was it. That was done for the rest of the pre-release. And we're not even going to get into the fact that when it officially launched, which we found out was, found out the hard way, if you will, that pre-release is literally just a word now. It doesn't mean anything. The set comes out officially. You can buy singles. You can buy product. You can buy pretty much everything and start playing stuff that day. Apparently, the day pre-release happens is the day the set becomes legal. I found that out at my store when we went back the week later, me and my girlfriend, to purchase a lot, because as I've been saying the past couple of weeks, she was going to go absolute ham on Tarkir Dragonstorm because she's a Tiamat player, has been for a few years, and her Tiamat deck hasn't been upgraded that much except for visual upgrades or upgrading to, from Miram to the alternate art foil Miram, stuff like that. So she ate pretty good. And we went to that store, and they had approximately the day of release, the official day of release in quotations, they had 6 collector boosters left. They had no play boosters. They had no bundles. They had some Commander product, but the sum that they had was the Sultai and the I think Teamer sets, and they were going for well above MSRP, so that's why they probably had a bunch left over. Honestly, as I said before, and everybody will say, if you can find those Commander decks for MSRP, buy them at MSRP. Do not pay markups for it. They put back the MSRP for a reason. Or just wait a few weeks for the prices to go down, because they will. So we got the play box. She bought the play booster box, 6 collector packs, and then no, we didn't actually. I'm misremembering. We didn't buy anything because they didn't have anything in that store. That's right. So we kind of sheepishly get back into the car. I call my other store that I used to work at and be like, hey, do you have anything? I know it's a long shot at best. It's the $10,000 question you're going to get all day. They told me they had some. So I was like, all right, bet we're going to be there. I'm not telling you to hold a product. I'm just saying we're on our way. So in that store, she wound up getting play booster box, a bundle, and 6 collector booster packs. Okay. Because that's kind of all they had. We discovered also they did have collector booster boxes, but you weren't allowed to buy a whole box. And the other store that we would go to a little bit later in the story did the same thing, just to guarantee that if you wanted to at least buy some collector packs, you could get some collector packs. And I appreciate the ever-loving you-know-what when stores do that. So we got those. I noticed that there was an academic Gamegenic box there, and I was like, oop, academic alert. She got that too. Then we get back in the car, and I'm like, there is one other spot that we can go to that's kind of close, which is a WPN store. So now we've gone to 2 WPN stores. The store I used to work at isn't, I think, a premium event. No, a WPN premium. The store I used to work at isn't a premium. I think it used to be a diamond store, and then they redid all the things. But we went to another premium store, and they had some product left. So we wound up getting 3 packs, collector booster packs. She wound up finding the Dragon's Secret Lair. She bought that. She bought me a Edgar Markov playmat for the deck that she hates. And then, yeah, I think that was it. So we went to 3 stores the day the set officially came out. Struck out on the first one because they had nothing. Got some in the second store and got a little bit more in the third store. So, oh yeah, and then I got 2 copies. No, I got those later. So I wound up in that journey getting, what did I get? I got a couple. I got 2 Saram Senior Artificers, a Scalding Tarn, and one other card, a Jet Medallion. I had credit in the first store that I wanted to use because I don't know when I'm going to be back there because sister company XWW, we about to be a little bit busy over here. Yeah, so that was it. And it's interesting seeing all these stores not have any Tarkir Dragonstorm, but absolutely drowning in Aether Drift product. They were. Every single place we went to was drowning in this product. So hopefully Wizards of the Coast has taken note of this because this is not just a simple problem that happened by me. It's happened everywhere when it came to Tarkir Dragonstorm. People like the product. People like it when we go back to Fantasy in the regular baseline sets. I'll take it like this. Karlov Manor, mocked relentlessly. Thunder Junction was laughed out the building. Bloomburrow, amazing. Duskborn, got some good cards that see some play in a couple formats, but it's not totally 100% liked. Foundations, adored. Aether Drift, why does this set exist? And Tarkir, finally, shut up and take my money. All of it. So what I'm hoping is this is the beginning of the in-universe Magic the Gathering, Dominaria and all that other stuff, going back to the fantasy setting and not going totally off the rails with death races and cowboys and 80s horror movies. And we're going to leave that stuff to the Universes Beyond sets. I really seriously hope that this is what is going to happen because, honestly, Bloomborough, same scenario. You can barely find anything on it like weeks after the set came out, like product-wise. Foundations, I can't find starter kits anywhere, and I wanted to do an idea where I got a starter kit and built a commander deck out of it. I've not been able to find a starter kit anywhere. Aether Drift. Yeah, Tarkir Dragonstorm. You can't find it anywhere. Probably as of right now in this recording, you can, because Wizards is really good at getting the allocations up. But oh my God, it's been a hot minute since I've actually had to travel and traverse and do a journey to find product. So, Wizards of the Coast, I hope you're taking notes. Especially now that Universes Beyond are mainline standard sets. Leave the crazy shenanigans to the Universes Beyond. Let's go back to some more fantasy traditional stuff in the regular in-universe Magic the Gathering set. Enough of this car crap. Enough of this cowboys stuff. Enough of the 80s horror movies in the universe. I know, says the guy who the next in-universe set is the space set. Can't wait for that stuff to sit on the shelves and nobody wanting it. So, yeah, Tarkir Dragonstorm, really, really good. An update to the cheater, Connor Pattinson from the NRG, Nerd Rage Gaming event, who was caught on stream cheating in multiple ways. The video will be playing right now as I talk over it. First off, this dude's a piece of crap who played cards that wasn't even on his deck list. That's what got him disqualified from the event after the match. After this happens, he was deck checked and it was compared to his deck list and it didn't match. That's what he got DQ'd. But also having the cards in his lap as well. That's how he won the game that is being presented right now. He literally had, I think, a Urabrask's Forge in his lap. Or a Boros Charmer. Or the game winner was in his lap. Just kind of waiting there. And you can't say it otherwise. It's clear as day on it. He got caught on live on Twitch. Not just cheating one thing. I could almost understand if you were trying to cheat in the way with the card on the lap. But not only that, you have a false deck list and you knew this stuff was going to be streamed. Are you a complete dunce? Then again, if you're cheating in your quote-unquote hobby, that tells me the quality of character that you are. So, you got banned for life from NRG. Good on them. Hopefully they spread the word because, as I said previously, there is no more official judges program that Wizards of the Coast is involved with. So hopefully NRG has talked to other places. I'm pretty sure Star City banned the guy because it's obviously clear as day. And if you see this guy at your store playing in a Friday Night Magic and above a competitive REL event, yeah, let him know. I don't care. You can't say it's right here. The evidence is right here. There's 2 planes right there. His deck list had 1 planes. And then obviously the card on his lap. So he got banned, and the official ruling was not only cheating, but also he lied to tournament officials. He tried to say that not only was the deck list wrong or something like that, but he didn't have cards in his lap. What? So what happens in this scenario? The prize money was rescinded because you don't, in these type of events, you don't get paid immediately. So they took away the prize money that he would have earned. Mind you, he was already disqualified from the event, so he was never going to receive anything. Any prize support that he received is too late to recoup. And the money that he would have won was donated to the 988 Suicide Crisis Hotline. And Sean Gallagher, also known as the person who was actually cheated by Pattinson on camera, was the one who suggested this charity. So Gallagher's the type of person who Magic needs more of. Not only handled this entire situation super calm and composed and well because he was cheated out of potentially a lot of money and maybe even like future tournament entries by this, on top of the prize support as well. Hats off to him. You are a better human being than I am. And that is saying a lot. Or not much at all. Depends on who you talk to about me. But cheating is rampant. And you got to call them out on it. And do not, I'm serious, on these REL events, the competitive rules enforcement, when in doubt, call a judge. Even if it's on you. Say you accidentally drew 3 cards when you were supposed to draw 2 because of the spell. Immediately stop playing, put your cards down, call a judge. Because even if you did oopsie whoopsie, not going to finish the rest of that meme, the judge will take that a little bit better because you're the one who said, hey judge, I screwed up. They'll take it a little, you won't get a game loss. You'll get like a warning. Mind you, if you do this a bunch, you're going to get a game loss and a DQ. But generally speaking, when in doubt, call a judge. That's what they're there for. Any type of shenanigans. And also, pro tip, not really pro tip because I ain't a pro, but if your opponent ever has their hands out of your view sight under the table, shenanigans are going on. Nobody playing this game correctly is trying to hide their hand from you consistently. If it's once or twice, yeah, that's okay. Be on alert. But if it's like the entire time or anything happens big and the hand disappears and you cannot see the cards, call a judge. Seriously, you have to. Because had a judge been called, they would have seen the litany of violations that Pattinson had done just in this game alone. And the fact that other people afterwards came out and said, oh yeah, he was doing shady stuff throughout our game. This guy deserves to never be able to play this game again. Play online, that's okay. It's almost impossible to cheat unless you're Wizards of the Coast. And just get him out of the scene. Get people like this out of the scene completely. If a Hall of Famer can have his Hall of Fame taken away and banned for life because he got caught cheating, you can definitely get banned for life for cheating, I feel, as well. And now, the final topic of the day, and oh boy, it's a doozy. Yeah, I know I'm a week late. What are you going to do about it? Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering was in the news for all the wrong reasons. It leaked early. The official preview season doesn't start till May 10th. Last week on April 7th or 8th, something ginormous happened. Along the lines of the last time something like this happened, the Pinkertons were told to handle this stuff. It leaked early. And in South America, and this is a story that just keeps on giving, folks, from what I've been able to gather and research I've done, a distributor in South America accidentally delivered the starter kits and possibly pre-release kits to some stores in Brazil. Okay, mistakes like this happen all the time. And usually what will happen is the distributor will ask, hey, we goofed up, can we get this back? Or hold it down, lock and key, don't even look at it the right way, don't accidentally pour water on it after midnight or feed it or whatever. Just keep it as is. Don't even let anybody know about it. One or two of these stores, or multiple stores, said, nah, dog, that don't work for me. I'm going to open all this up. I'm going to take pictures of everything, and then I'm going to load it up to the internet. So they cracked them open, took pictures, and then uploaded it to so many different websites. Then, after this stuff started coming out, Wizards of the Coast sent out a request for the product to be returned undamaged and that Wizards of the Coast would take care of the cost of returns. That is no big deal. The cat had been let out of the bag, and Wizards is trying to handle this as professionally as possible. This store whoever did this doubled down, and I think opened up more and started showing more, which is the most brazen move that I can think of in the history of the game. Yeah, the one guy who opened up March of the Machines Aftermath, that's a fan, okay? That's a player, okay? This would be like me accidentally getting the set, opening it up, and being like, oh, crap. What do? You know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to upload the stuff to YouTube. I'm not going to share these pictures on Reddit. I don't need the Pinkertons coming my way. I don't need Papa Wizards of the Coast. Jace at my front door with Gideon's resurrected corpse going, yeah, man, we're going to have a talk. Instead, this is a store. This is a professional business doing this. Or this is a professional business letting their employees do it, which, if that's the case, I kind of feel bad for the store, but then again, it's still on you for whatever ramifications happen afterwards. And then for some reason, the internet, being the internet, decided to lose their minds to get mad at Wizards of the Coast over this scenario. My notes aren't using the most kind words, so I'm going to not use those words. But most of you complaining have never heard of a thing called street date before. Street date before. Okay, I spoke so fast I immediately knew I screwed those words up. Street date basically means you get the product in early, and they say you are not allowed to sell any of this product until this date. I used to work at GameStop back when they were starting to become the best business ever, and in that weird transition to becoming the worst business to work for. And then there's the today version of GameStop, which is I don't even walk in the building anymore. This was in the time when I started working at GameStop when they just stopped selling retro stuff. Okay, maybe like a year, 6 months to a year after they stopped doing that. So I was still in the twilight of the prime GameStop days. Street date, they take very seriously. They will actually like I know some of the bigger companies like EA, Blizzard, Sony games and whatnot, even Microsoft, because I started right around the time the 360 came out. They would send agents, secret shoppers that they called them, into the store to see if they could buy games that had not come out yet. The fine is just a little slap on the wrist. Barely an inconvenience. What happens afterwards isn't an inconvenience. Because say I sold GTA 4 a week before, okay? The company gets hit with a fine. I might get hit with a fine for selling it. Then our store gets put on a list, and not a good one. We are now known as a street date violation location, which means that we're not going to get stuff earlier than street date, which means we can't process it. We can't make sure that we have the correct allocations for pre-orders. We can't do a lot of things. They may take advertising away from the store, so we won't get that cool kiosk display showing GTA 5 in the future or Red Dead 2 in the future. You know, we won't get any of that. We might not even be allowed to pre-order games, certain games from certain companies, because we violated street date. Now, where this comes into question when it comes to the comic and card industry is there's multiple distributors, okay? And the distributor is at fault here for giving the product to the store. Mistakes happen all the time. The distributor usually will give you an email saying, hey, look, an error has been made, lock it up, lock and key, or send it back to us. This is our fault. We're going to correct it for you. You know, and they may even throw back a few more extra product that they didn't originally had because they did technically inconvenience you. What they're not expecting is a professional business to do what has happened here. Open up the product, take pictures on Reddit, spoil certain things. And you may say, oh, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. The problem is Wizards has this very tightly focused and allocated to the date and time of when certain cards get spoiled, because they actually go out to content creators and they've already known. They've already given them the product a little bit. They said, hey, here's your preview card. You'll have time to make a video on it and all that. Your video is going to come out on the 11th of May at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Because at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Game Nights does their preview. And then at 7 o'clock at night on the 11th, this particular YouTube channel does their preview. And then they have it segmented. It's called Perpetual Hype. But they have that listed down. And now what happens with this is some of those content creators, their preview cards have already been previewed. And it's happened numerous times before. But, it does screw things up a little bit. And what makes it worse is it's a business. So now that's why I didn't have many nice words for the people that were getting mad at Wizards of the Coast for demanding the product back undamaged, because they want to make sure you didn't open it because it's already been spoiled. They want to make sure that, say, these 4 stores gave us back our product in perfect condition. This one was missing a case, or this one's case had been opened. So now we know what store is going to get banned from getting product ever again. And that's a bad thing about this store that spoiled it. They are going to find out. They don't need the Pinkertons, and we'll get to them in a bit, to figure out who did it. It's going to be very easy to figure out who did it. Worst case scenario, some IT tech kid at Wizards of the Coast, if they even have one, just looks at the metadata of the pictures. It's not like geographical locations are found that way, because they can be very easily. So he's like, okay, Roy's comic book store is the one who did it. Roy's comic book store is on the list of never getting product again from us, from the distributor. So Wizards of the Coast will tell the distributor, this comic book store doesn't get any more product in, ever. Then those distributors will talk to other distributors as well. Like, if you don't think like distributor A is not talking to B about that comic book store that broke street date, you're wrong, because they all do. That's why breaking street date like this for a business is 100 times worse than it is for the guy who not accidentally, he knew what he was doing, but, opened up the product and had the Pinkertons called on him for March of the Machine's aftermath. This is a business, and now this business is probably never going to receive any official Magic the Gathering product ever again. Forget about pre-releases, forget about commander decks, forget about even getting in promos so you can draw people in to play Friday Night Magic. Forget any of that. You're going to have to figure out a way to get product in, and you're not going to make any money on it because you're going to have to basically buy it off the shelf and then upcharge it. So then, now I did the smallest modicum of research about, can the Pinkertons get involved? Yes, they can. I have done some research on Securitas Security Services USA, the parent company to the Pinkertons. They are an international company dealing with corporate stuff. So they could potentially get involved as well. Do I think they will? Depends on how mad Wizards of the Coast is, because they're big mad right now, if you don't even realize that. This wasn't supposed to happen. Most of all, a business wasn't supposed to be doing this. Although maybe they could be mad, depending on where it was, that they stopped printing in their language. I'm not even joking. Certain parts of South America just get American print cards now, because they stopped printing 10 or 15 different languages a year or two ago. Make it make sense. I have no idea. What other on my notes I'm checking? Oh, damn. I think I covered it all except for my one comment. Honestly, the store who did this, the employee who did this, it's the biggest lose-lose for them. The business, the store that did this as well, because you earned a few internet points that don't exist anyway. Reddit upvotes ain't paying your rent. To the point that I'm not even going to talk about any of the cards that have been really revealed. Other channels, other websites have done that. Have at those. I'm not doing it because I don't feel like doing the research. Woo! We went on a journey there in multiple ways. We went there and back again to the mountains of sold out Tarkir, all the way to the depths of pre-release dungeons. My name is Dom Douglas for Max Heroes and Villains. Don't forget, leave a like and comment and subscribe if you feel you want to see more of this content. And may your top deck always be mythic. Can't wait to see a Friday Night Magic at that store that spoiled Final Fantasy.